Great. Thank you so much. Hi. Good evening to everyone. My name is Joanne, and today I'd like to welcome you to the today's webinar. So, it is slightly different today. Actually, it is with great pleasure that we will be presenting the launch of Infurnia's exclusively manufacturing software, which is the MES Portal. So, those of you who are already using our existing cut list and manufacturing features in our design portal might already be aware about it. But in time, whatever features these are, the cut list, being able to download different types of outputs, manufacturing, like fulfillment tags, etc., all of these have either already been transferred onto or will soon enough be transferred onto the MES portal. So today I'll be taking you through the portal because it's been recently launched. In case of any questions throughout this session, which I'm sure you'll have many, I would request you to keep them till the end of the session. So on hand here we have Rishipanna, my colleague, who comes with great expertise in the manufacturing aspect of Infurnia.
Hello everyone. Hi. I will be giving my inputs later if required. Joanne will be handling the main part of the webinar. Thank you.
Hi, welcome aboard, Rishipanna. So in case there's anything to point out throughout the session, please feel free to do so.
Sure. Thank you.
All right, I'll just share the screen, just take you through the introduction. The screen is visible to everyone, right? Do let me know.
Yes, it's
Yes,
visible.
Great. All right, thank you, everyone. So I'd like to introduce you now to the MES portal. What the MES stands for, as you can see here, is the Manufacturing Execution Software. So how this is different is now normally we have the design portal in which we have not only the normal features for creating the build like the walls, windows, etc., creating the building and interior design, but we also had the ability to generate outputs from like the cut list and other manufacturing related outputs. However, now we have launched a new portal it itself, just like how admin portal is a separate one. We have launched an MES portal, which is exclusively for those using the cut list and the manufacturing add-ons. So it's exclusively for those kind of outputs, cutlass generation, manufacturing purposes. So once implemented in the design, whatever modular cabinets are there in the design can actually be used to inform the manufacturing outputs in the MES portal later on. So that brings us to why are we using MES? Why have we introduced this feature all of a sudden? So this has been in the works for a few months now. So what we've observed is that whenever a design is being created, like a project, an interior design, especially a kitchen, uh, there is the designing aspect, the interiors and the aesthetics of it, and of course there is the cabinetry, how the outputs and all will be generated. And once this design reaches its final stages, they tend to go their separate ways in terms of finalizing the design and finalizing the modular units. These two will end up being as separate steps altogether. And both of these processes need to be approved by different standards and also by different people as well. And therefore, we have actually developed a separate platform for purely modular users. So if you can see here, these, just to take you through a brief step, these are something called work orders. In the design portal, we have something called designs, but in work orders is where we'll actually be revising the modular units and generating outputs out of them. So it'll actually simplify the process of tracking these units, creating work orders like this. And also, it'll be a much easier user experience for those who are not as much used to the design as the others might be. So, in terms of that, we have actually developed a separate platform for purely modular users. not only so that there'd be greater scope in terms of the features that are going to be introduced, but also the usability of the software. So with that, I'd like to actually take you to the MES portal. So how to log on to the MES portal. So we'll reach that there. So actually, once you are you have an Infurnia account, you can actually log in to the MES portal using the same Infurnia credentials. So to actually access the MES portal, you should actually open a new tab and type in the URL of mes.infurnia.com. This is assuming that you are logged out of Infurnia itself. If not, then it'll directly take you to your workspace. But let's say I'm logged out. So now I'll ask you to enter your credentials the same way that you use the Infurnia design portal, like to log in. You can also log into this platform in the same manner. And then you can either continue with Google or you can enter your email ID and the password with which you have activated your account, and you can go ahead and select login. Then in the panel that opens up, you just have to choose your organization name. In my case, that would be Joanne Infurnia. Now you may notice something in the bottom right, something called error in logging in to the MES portal. So why that is happening? The reason is that you actually need user access to the MES portal because these are two different add-ons. So in order to do that, first you need to log into your design portal or your admin portal. In fact, you need to go to your admin portal, sign in there, and then you'll enter your admin portal. What you need to do is you need to give yourself user access to the MES portal. So either you or someone who has access to all of these will be able to assign the user that level of access. You go to billing and usage, go to user management, and let's say I want to give myself the user access to MES portal. I click on the edit access again, the same, select edit. And now in access level, you can see that we already have designer, project manager, catalog manager, etc. account also. Now, if you select here, you can see that two more have been added. So this is MES user and MES editor. So there's a difference between the two, which I shall briefly explain once we reach the actual portal. For now, let's just say I'm giving myself MES user access, and then I just go ahead and update it. So now I have been logged into Infurnia and I've given myself the user access. So now I just have to go ahead and type in the MES platform, the mes.infurnia.com. I'll select this. And now I'll actually be taken to my dashboard. So this is going to be your MES portal dashboard interface. You can see that's a relatively simplistic interface right now. In the left-hand panel, you can see in the MES portal left-hand panel, the work orders, and you can also see something called coming soon. If you select here, you can see what all features are yet to be released and it's coming up soon in our MES portal. And now we have something called the work order. Now, what is a work order exactly? It's something that it is actually like how the design portal has can we can create designs. In this, we're going to be using a design and its cabinetry to actually inform the outputs that are going to come out of it later. So I'll just show an example. Now, supposing in the right hand side, I click on create work order. So here you need to specify the name. You can give a description if you like. And now the design link is actually the most important. So it should always be an Infurnia design. So you basically need to type in the URL of the design whose cabinetry you want to take outputs out of. So for that, I'll just go to my design dashboard and I'll just choose any project from which I want to do this. You may notice that I am simultaneously in the admin, the MES, and the design portal. So all of these can work. Like these can all be open at the same time. You don't have to sign out of one in order to go into the other. So let's say I want the cabinetry of pre-settings. So all I need is the URL. I don't need to wait for this to open. I just type in I just select the URL of the same. This is the cabinetry I want. I just copy the URL of the same and then I go to the MES portal and then just paste it here. And then I select create. So now work order 1 has been created. This is the new one. This is at this point I should mention that the minute you create a work order, whatever changes you make in the design in this cabinetry will not at all reflect in the work order. Whatever changes you want to make then, you can only do here itself. So in this way, your dependency on the design will reduce. Actually, it will be nullified. You won't have to depend on this anymore. You can go on your own separate stage of finalization. And in this three dot I button against the same, you can see that you can open the work order. If you click on edit work order details, you can change the name and the description. And also you can open the design in a new tab also if you wanted to. So if I click on this, you'll be opening the design over here. So in order to open your work order, you can either select open work order, you can directly click on it. So now we enter the actual MES interface. Now on the left hand side, let's just go over the whole interface. So we have here in the top left, work orders, work order 1 and modular units. So this is the hierarchy. So within work order 1, we have these modular units. And if you click on work orders, you will be taken back to your dashboard. So you can again click on the same work order to reopen it. But basically, this is how the hierarchy works. And if you want to go back to the dashboard again, you can also click on back to work orders. Now, apart from that, we have two panels over here. Let's start with the left feature panel. So we right now, the features available here are we can create a pan listing and therefore the cut list, and also we can create the board layout. Under coming soon, you can see that features such as inventory, assisted sewing, inspection, packaging, etc. These are going to be coming up soon. But as of now, these are what are available. So that is there. And now we have the modular unit panel. So you can see that in all units, there are 13 units that have been informed from this design and then transferred onto here, and which will be, by the way, no longer dependent on the admin portal.
Yes, yes.
Uh, I would request you to please be on mute, sir. Thank you. Right. So we can see that all the units are here. These are the list of units that have been created. You can see that there's something called not enabled and enabled. That is something that we can go into further. And this search bar. Hi, am I audible to everyone? I think I'd been muted.
Yes, audible.
All right, thank you. Yes. So as I was saying, if you want to search for a particular cabinet over here, you can just type in the name over here and you will be getting these particular cabinets listed. But in total, there in this case, there are 13. And there will be enabled, there's 0. Right. And also the whenever you click on this particular whenever you click on one of these units over here, you can see now this is sort of the viewport for the cabinets. If I deselected this, then it would not show you. This was blank until now, but now you can see that we have a cabinet over here. We have these panels of this selected element here as well, like drawer, left, etc., etc. And in this 3D view, very similar to Infurnia's workspace, if you click on any panel, it'll take you to this particular panel over here. So this is the right panel that I've selected now. And you can see all of the details here as well. C1, cabinet 1, P2, panel 2, which is the right panel. You can see the dimensions here. You can see the core material. You can see the edge bands and internal finishes, all the finishes that have been used. And if you click on panel drawing here next to 3D viewer, then you can even see the panel drawing of this particular panel that I've selected. And you can switch back to 3D viewer if you want. Within panel viewer, you can, so these are the different outputs that you can get. MPR, CIX, TCN, etc. So this is the per cabinet viewport. So of course, this will apply to each and every one of these cabinets. For every cabinet, you can click on a panel and you'll be able to see these particular details, whichever one that you might click on, whether it's drawer fascia, drawer back, so on and so forth. Any constituent panel of the unit that you have selected, you will be able to see that. Now that brings us to the production workflow. Now, what is the ideal way of working within Infurnia's MES portal? So to briefly summarize, the ideal workflow, as we have heard, would be to revise all of these units and their panel sizes, their materials, etc., and then only decide whether we should enable it for production. And when you enable something for production, that means you will then be able to generate your panel listing and your board layout. So of course, we have gone over how to revise the unit. If you click on these units one by one, you can not only see how it looks on the inside and its constituent panels, but you can of course see its data and you can revise this at your leisure. And to make it very easy for the viewers as to whether it is good to go or not, we have something called unit verified here. Once you have determined your Once you have determined that this unit is good to go, you can click on the toggle against unit verified. So now this is orange and now it is going to be marked as orange here also. This is going to be marked as orange here also. So that is what is unit verification. So now what if I go to one of these units and I decide that I do not want this left panel, or I want some change to be made to this panel, like this cabinet, or I want some change to be made to at least one of the panels. Then of course we should not verify this. We should make the change by editing the unit here. So basically the ideal way is to edit this unit to whatever change you want and then only enable it for manufacturing, verify it and enable it. But now you can see here that we are unable to do so. You can't click on edit unit right now. So that's where the MES editor access comes in. So for editing the units, you can see this message. You need the MES editor access and please contact your admin for the same, which means you need to give yourself another level of access. You can go back to your admin portal then to do that and then click on edit against your name and then select here and then check MES editor. This will actually enable you to make changes to the cabinetry structure in the MES portal. Once you update this and then go back to your Infurnia MES portal and perhaps refresh your page. So now when I select here, now this edit unit option has been activated. So all I need to do is select edit unit, and now I'll be taken to the MES editor portal. Herein you can make whatever changes you like. It is very similar. It is exactly the same as the component editor in terms of what all changes you can make to it. So I'll just make a few changes to this particular panel, make a couple of changes. This even includes things like changing the construction, so on and so forth. Switching on the back panel and changing various other aspects of the cabinet's construction. And yes, so once you do so, you have made these changes, then you can actually directly just close this. And now you can see this change has automatically been made over here. And even if you went back to this MES portal, this MES editor portal, and made like a change here, like maybe just to this panel, that means now it will reflect likewise simultaneously in your actual work order as well. So you don't even have to close this. This is an auto save thing, just like design. You don't need to save the changes yourself. Once you make these kind of changes, you can of course revise the panel and its sizes, its dimensions. So by the way, these are its finished dimensions, which is including the edge band as well. So just keep that in mind when you are doing the revision. Once you have made the change, you can go ahead and verify this unit. Now, what happens once you verify the unit? So that means it's good to go. So here you have the option of the next step would of course now be enabling the units for production, whether it is cutlass outputs or manufacturing outputs. So now we have none of these are enabled right now. You can select enable units for manufacturing. This you can do regardless of whether it's verified or not, but it is better to verify them first. If you click on enable units for manufacturing, so now you can see that these two are there that are verified, and these are unverified units. So of course, you can either click on these as well. Just click on the check mark against unverified units if you want, or you can select one by one just to decide which ones you want to enable for production. And you can do the same with these as well. Let's say I just want to select the verified units. I click on the check marks against that. That's how you bulk select them. And then you can click on, go ahead and select enable 2 units. That is 26 panels total. Because between the two of them, they are 26 panels. So now you can see that 2 have been enabled and 2 are not enabled. Now I want to mention something that once you enable a unit for production, um, the enabling will actually incur a panel cost. So of course, per month, your first 1,000 panels are going to be free. Your first 1,000 panels are going to be free, like for you. But after that, it'll incur a certain cost per panel depending on which add-on you're using, which I will go into later. But but the other thing is that once you enable a unit, it'll only be incurred once in your billing. That means no matter how many times you enable it, the same thing, or um, download the cut list again and again, the billing will not be increased from that. It won't change after that. And on the other hand, even if you were to disable something from production, so if I click on enable this tab here, select this, and to disable from production, you click on disable from manufacturing. Then, and if you select proceed, that means it'll be excluded from your outputs. but that billing that was once incurred will remain. So it only happens once and it cannot be taken back. So I'll just enable it again. I'll just enable this. And once we have enabled these particular units or how many of the units you want, then we can now go over what kind of outputs you can generate. So let's start with the panel listing. So of course, once you have enabled the units, you will be able to generate the panel listing. If you haven't, then you would not be able to do that. But now I've enabled them. So whatever is belonging to those two units, you're going to get a list of panels here. That is their label, the cabinet C1 and P1, which is the panel, the name of that particular panel, the dimensions, that is counting the finish and the edge band, and the core material along with its internal and external finishes. So you can, as you notice here, you have the option of selecting any of these panels to obtain further information from the same. If I select P1, for example, on the right hand side, you can see that this is the panel drawing. These are the details like you were seeing in the work order previously. And of course, we have these different outputs as well. Now you have the option to download this panel drawing, provided that you are subscribed to MES Pro. So that is actually what the manufacturing add-on will be converted to. We have MES Lite, which will actually enable you to access the software and do the remaining features. But I should mention that the downloading of this particular panel drawing and the machine or CAM outputs will be required for MES Pro. MES Pro will be needed for that. So of course the remaining are fairly simple. So machine outputs, which are the CAM outputs, you can select this machine outputs. And here you have the options for the machine that you want. And you have the option to include whichever outputs you need, like the panel drawings, fulfillment tags, or DXF files. And in CAM settings, you can of course make changes to the various fields. So suppose I've chosen HOMAG, you can make changes to the various settings like router, drill, etc. In general, like panel saw, you can even change like things like the tolerance and like barcode size, so on and so forth. And once you apply these changes, you can go ahead and download your machine output. So it's a very similar UI to what we have in the design as well. So I'll just choose HOMAG and I can select download. So then it'll be downloaded over here. Now we have the cut list as well. So to download the cut list for the same, I click on download cut list, choose the cut list type that you want. You can make changes in the cut list settings as well, whether it's BSA or general. You can choose the accuracy and other fields as well. And once you have done so, you can go ahead and select proceed. So of course, now you have your cut list, which is quite similar to the cut list that you generate even in the design portal, like along with product code, the part name of the panel, finished the finished dimensions, the code. You'll also be getting like the edge band thickness and so on. If you scroll to the bottom only, you'll be able to scroll towards the left. So as you can see here, you can see the edge band thickness, length, width, etc. Grain sensitivity, whether it's been set up in the admin or not. And of course, most importantly, the cutting dimensions, which are not including the edge band. So these cutlass settings are there, and you can go ahead and download your CSV. For this, you just need to be subscribed to the MES Lite add-on. And of course, we have the panel labels. If we select this, so these are the fulfillment tags. So you can You can set the properties over here. These are the fields that are available. So you can see that you have the loading order, project ID, etc. You can even include or exclude certain names by clicking on the toggle against that particular field to switch it on. So now you can see it's getting added. If I want to remove the loading order, I can delete that field and now it's been removed from the preview. You can change the borders, your spacing, and you can even change the type of machining that you have over here. And also the properties such as the width, height, and also the dimension accuracy. Once you do so, you can go ahead and download the panel labels, the fulfillment tags. And when you do so, you will be getting it for all of the panels that I have enabled. So these are the kind of outputs that you can generate. So even fulfillment tags, you just need MES Lite add-on for that. Uh, Now, regarding that, I'll just be moving on to the board layout. Now that we have gone over the briefing of how Cutlass can be accessed here, I'll just be going on to the board layout. So in order for it to be, again, in order for it to be enabled, so supposing I'll just show you what happens if I have not enabled anything. Now, if I had selected panel listing, now you'll not be able to get the production, and the same goes for your board layout. But now, if I, again, in order to generate your board layout, you need to verify and enable your, you need to verify and enable your units, whichever ones you want. I'll enable them. Go ahead with enable. And then I'll generate the board layout in the left-hand panel. So now the board layout has been generated. So in under number of boards, you can see that there are there are 5 types of boards. These are called the board types, and each board type has a different composition of materials. So you can see that in board 1, core material is 12 and internal and external finish are both white. And the number of sheets that are required in order to uh, accommodate those type of panels bearing this kind of composition, we need a certain 2 sheets. Of course, this also depends on the size. So the standard size right now is 2418 to 1240. So that's a standard size, but you can of course change it also later on. So in this manner, you can navigate board 2. We have a different type of core material, internal and external finish, and this only requires 1 sheet as per the size. And this is so on and so forth. So this is the hierarchy of the board layout and how to navigate its various panels that we have generated the board layout for. In terms of what we see in the table here, so we see that the panel count is 10, which means this particular sheet is using up 10 panels. Like it's utilized to accommodate 10 panels. So of course it's optimized automatically in such a way that there's very minimal wastage of the board. The length and width are also there of this particular board. The thickness of this panel, this total sheets thickness is 14 because we are counting the laminates as well. The saw width is 4 which means they have left 4 margins in between the panels because that is the width that the saw will inevitably take up when you are cutting the panels. So we've even set up the margins, which is 10 both horizontally, margin H is horizontal and margin V is vertical margins. So both of these border margins are going to be 10 And you can thus see the utilization of this board, which is currently 94.49%. And as of now, since the grain direction has not been set up in the admin portal, there is no grain. It is saying no grain. So that means the panels have been rotated in whichever way utilizes the board the best. Also, you can see that in this table, you can see reference numbers, annotation, and the cut dimensions of each panel. And you can similarly see that these labels are also there in the panel. So like, for example, this is number one, green. So this is panel number one, and its annotation would therefore be cabinet one, panel number five. So this is a very good way in which you can check out the reference for your particular cabinets, no, sorry, for your particular panels, and also see the cut dimensions for the same. Because whatever you see here, exclusive of the edge band, you'll also be able to see which is reflected over here. And also, you will be able to see these outputs in the fulfillment tags that I had downloaded. I will just see if I had enabled this reference ID over here. So it is supposed to have like a custom label. So what happens is, if I go to panel listing now, and I had, sorry, if I click on panel labels, uh, I go down. Now we have something called unique ID. Unique ID is basically what the color code and the number code that you saw on the board layout as well. So if I enable this, we have some, this is just the format 1234. But if I select download now and open this, so now you can see that this is one. This is panel number one. And in the board layout, this is the same panel number one that this fulfillment tag was referring to. So you can see that it is corresponding to each and every panel. This is panel number two with a cut size of 670, 558.4, etc., etc. And you can see the top finish and the bottom finish, both of them absolute white. And similarly, you can see the same details in number two's panel as well, with the exact same finishes. So this is how you can refer to your panels. It's a very good way you can track the different panels that are required. And of course, you can change the board layout settings. So to do that, you just click on the top right, which is the settings icon in your board layout. And herein, you can change your board dimensions. Let's say I'm typing in 1600 now and 1200. And the board margins also you can change. And the saw width, I'm just going to make it 2 mm. Now you can go ahead, and if you want, you can even specify the different dimensions for each and every board. So if I click here, then you can see board one, board type one, type two, and for each composition of materials, what are the sizes that we want. So you can either go for that, and you can see the saw width also you can change, board margins also you can change. Once you do that, you can select regenerate board layout. And now you can see that it's just loading. 1 second. I'll just return to the work order. The board layout. Yes, now you can see that the sizes have changed, the length and width has changed, as well as you can visibly see the change over here, as well as whatever changes are made to the saw width and the margins that have been applied. So these changes can be very clearly seen. And now because of that, it has been re-optimized, and the number of sheets have changed per composition of material or board type. And now the panels required are rearranged once again. So this is how you can adjust your board layout settings. Now, if you want to see this, the NC mode of this, so what NC mode means is, this is where in manual right now. For NC mode, if you select this next to manual, You can see that the board layout with the tool cut line indicated by blue and the orange lines, which are the indications of the traveling line of the tool. So if I click on play here, you can see this dot. So this is actually following the pattern, this following the direction of the tool cut line. You can see that in this case, the wastage is only going to be 18.11%. And the operation sides inside in this case is going to be the internal side. So that is something you can set up as well. So as of now, and as for downloading these outputs, if you select the download icon again the same, you have the option of downloading the board layout as a PDF, downloading the CSV as a finish count, or downloading the board count CSV or the kdt.nc file. I'll just download the PDF of this, and you can click on current sheet, all sheets belonging to the current board type or composition of materials, or all the panels that you have generated the board layout for. And if you want, you can check the item against include fulfillment tags and you can select download. So now this will be downloaded as a zip file, which you can access. You can see the summary over here with its board types, panel numbers, grain directions, etc. And as you scroll down, you'll be able to see this. Because I have gone to NC mode before doing this, you'll be able to see it like that. But if I went to manual again, then you'll be seeing the normal board layout as well. So yes, as of now, this is the extent of what we currently have in our MES portal in terms of the features. Don't worry, there are a lot more coming up because this is quite newly launched, and soon will be a very fully functioning way of getting your modular units, taken care of and manufactured to the best of your satisfaction. So before that, we'll just take a look. I know you have some questions, but just before we end this, we'll just go to the MES Lite and Pro add-ons. I'll just go to the pricing. It's the Infurnia pricing website. So you can see here that instead of cutlass and manufacturing, we now have MES Lite and MES Pro. 5,000 per month is going to be the cost per month for MES Lite, and MES Pro is 10,000 per month. So suppose, and this is of course advanced pricing. So for MES Lite, after the first 1,000 free panels per month that you have enabled, then the remaining will incur a one-time cost of 2 rupees per panel. Whereas if you subscribe to MES Pro, that will incur a cost of 4 rupees per panel. Again, after the first 1,000 free panels per month. So let's take a look at what that would mean for you. Suppose you are just using MES Lite. So I will just uncheck this box, which means I'll just close this. So we have the design plan. If we have advanced pricing and we have MES Lite, so that's going to be around like 48,600 per quarter, assuming that you're just using two users and an additional user per month. You can just type into this particular box and you can actually see the cost for yourself. In terms of the annual plan, this will be the difference. So you'll be saving up to 17% by going to the annual plan. And in the quarterly plan, if you choose MES Pro as well, so this is going to be the difference of the cost incurred, like the subscription fees. And MES Pro, what you'll be able to generate out of this as of now would be the panel drawings and the machine outputs as of now. So notice that there's no difference if you uncheck MES Lite or not. So as long as you have MES Pro, MES Lite's features are also going to be included within that. So this is just a bit about the add-ons that you will require for each type. So yes, that would actually now bring us to the gist of what the MES portal is. So I hope most of it was clear to you. So now we'll be entertaining any questions that you might have regarding this. Yes, Bakang has raised a hand.
Oh no, it's okay. I think you covered it just now. Thank you.
All right, thank you so
I
much.
was, I was asking about the MES Lite. Is it something that's it's not installed yet, like you said, right?
The MES Lite, no, so the MES Lite is just the add-on you use. It's just the add-on that you need to take in order to avail of the most of the features available in the MES portal. So you need that in order to access this. So it
Oh,
has already
okay.
been launched. So
Okay.
yes,
So
I
with
think
the difference between the MES Pro and the MES Lite is that on the MES Pro you can actually download your stuff, and then on the MES Lite you said you can only see through it but not download.
not exactly. So as of now, I'll just tell you what all you can download if you just have MES Lite. If you are in a panel listing, you'll be able to download your cut list and your panel labels. You'll just not be able to download your machine outputs nor the manufacture this particular panel drawing that you have. So these two you'll not be able to do with MES Lite alone. But otherwise, you'll be able to download your cut list, your panel labels, and whatever board layout outputs that you might need.
No, okay, thank you.
Sure thing. Yes, I think Netra Rajesh must have raised his hand first.
Hi. I have a doubt. Like after cutting down, after this board has been cutting down, how can we get to know कि this particular cut is for C box, C1 box, yeah, C1 के लिए जो है? How can we recognize that in this?
So as after it's been cut down by the machine already.
Because we have actually board में we have mentioned only 1 2 3 4 5 6 panel, and there is a sizes, right? इससे पहले जब box we are seeing the box C1 box C2 C3. How can we identify कि ये C1 का है cut, ये C1 का नहीं है cut? How can we segregate it after that?
Okay, got it. Normally the fulfillment tags are these panel labels, right? That I had downloaded here. So these would ideally be stuck onto the panels after the cutting is done. But I think Rishipana can
See,
confirm
what
on this
I'm
one.
saying is like ये तो physically the labor has to stick, and then the carpenter at the site can understand this particular is for this particular box. But while on the manufacturing unit, before sticking, how can we understand कि ये इस panel का है, इस box की है?
Okay, so if you look at the output, Netra, Joanne, can you move to a board layout?
Yes, yes.
What you're saying is वहाँ पे एक में अगर आप
तीन
देखें
चार mark
वहाँ
किए
पे
हुए हैं,
एक
but
उसी के साइड एक बॉक्स दिया हुआ है, राइट? जहाँ पे 1 2 3 4 का एनोटेशन दिया हुआ है, मीनिंग C1 P5 C1 P3. तो ये सारे आप ऐसे रेफर कर सकते हैं. These annotations are constant across all your outputs. तो इस तरीके से आपको पता चलेगा
okay,
कि
okay, done, done,
वो
done.
है क्या. ओके, नोट.
Done.
All right. Uzair Nasser.
Hello. Yeah. So if we have the cutting list, um, cut list plan,
Yes.
add-on plan. Yeah. So which one is included in this?
The Cutlass plan that you have right now is actually supposed to directly translate, unless Rishipana, if I'm wrong, you can correct me on this, but it is supposed to directly translate into the MES Lite add-on.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the this
Okay.
plan that you
Thank you.
have is typically the MES Lite, and the manufacturing add-on that you have converts to MES Pro.
Okay. 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 So the you had some plan like about 1,000 free panels. What I didn't get
Yes,
that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So if you were to subscribe now to in the upcoming one, perhaps if you were to, let's say, subscribe to MES Lite, either MES Lite or MES Pro, you are going to be getting the first 1,000 panels like free each month. That means if you enable like certain units, right, the total number of panels that are going to come out of that free would be like 1,000 only. This is going to be per month.
Like
Afterwards,
panels means each piece of a order.
right, each panel that makes up the total unit, that is going to be considered.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Yes, Helix Interior.
Hi. Same on the continuation. The panel, what you mentioned is the boards, the plywood boards, 1,000 plywood boards, or the
Yes, the when you mean the panels, I mean whatever.
no, on the plywood you can cut multiple pieces, right?
Yes,
Suppose this
these
has a
panels.
5 action. So this 1,000 is the five panels. I will
Right, each of these panels are going to
count
count
as a,
towards your
okay.
first 1,000 per month. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. One second question, ma'am. I just I think you explained really well. Actually, thanks for that.
Thank you.
And so so is there a report which shows the bill of material and bill of quantity? Means how many 12 panels I need to order, how many 16 plywood I need to order, how many laminates I need to order? Because this uh,
Like, sorry, like if there's a way to keep track of how many you've used, right?
no, how many I need to order actually for this particular project actually. Suppose I need to order 100 plywoods and the suppose particular laminate 20 laminates and the 30 what is this inner laminates are around 60 actually. That count where I can get actually.
Finishes count, I think you
Yes.
mean, sir. Yes, so if you're in your board layout, you can open the settings and sorry, not this. I meant the download itself. We have the finish count CSV.
What exactly that shows?
I'll just download it and I'll just show you. So here we have now, mind, this is whatever has only been taken out of the enabled units. So you can see the finish name. I'll just extend this particular. So Siberian oak.
Yeah.
We can see the number of sheets that are
Okay.
required.
Okay. Sheet count is there.
Yes.
Okay. It is only for the laminates, right? What about the plywoods?
The core materials are not counted in this. These are the finishes. The finishes are
Okay.
different from
What
the
about
core
the core
material.
material? Actually, because there will be different thickness of the core materials, right?
Yes. So I'll just see this. If I open board count, I'll just check. I'll just check for that. Yes, here is our core material.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So you'll be seeing the board counts, which is how many of those boards are going to be used of that particular size.
But I don't know,
Right.
finish also mentioned there actually.
Yes, the sheets of
Internal finish, external finish. Okay, got it. So the boards how to apply the finishes also there it is from this board report I can get it.
right. It will
Okay,
tell you the
fine.
total.
So ideally
yes.
3 boards I need to apply absolute white external and absolute white internal. Yep, perfect.
Exactly. All right, great.
Thank you.
Yes, I believe Uzair Nasser has his hand raised again. Did you have a doubt? If not,
Ma'am, I have one last question actually. And,
sure.
I don't know whether either is related to pricing actually. Can you go back to the pricing actually?
This one? Yes, of course.
So ma'am, can you scroll down some where it shows the complete? Yeah, if you see here onboarding fee. So if I'm taking quarterly, okay, every
Okay.
quarter renewation, I need to do the onboarding fee again and again.
No,
Or
no,
only
it's
once?
just it's you can see
Okay, it
that
is mentioned
it's a
one
one
time.
time.
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
yes, it is.
Okay, thanks.
Sure.
After this, is the doubt session continued, or everyday doubt session timing is changed or something like that?
Okay, I see why that has been brought up. So the doubt session was, if I'm not mistaken, changed because of some internal meetings as well. But I think I can check with the team as well, CS team, as to whether the doubt sessions are going to remain the same or not. If someone can correct me on this, because I'm not, I can check it.
Why don't you just check this out with your CSN? Because what they do is every week they send out the timings accordingly, according to the bandwidth and availability of manpower. So what you can do is just check with them, and they'll give you the link for that week.
So actually, I've got received the link and it's been showing 5 to 6:30 p.m. today. So I was asking.
It might be going on parallelly because we had a webinar.
Yeah.
We have different people handling both.
No, Rishiparna, we are not having the doubt sessions today.
You're not having. Okay, so Rajni is here, and she can take up this question if there is anything,
So
because
there will be
she's
a change in how the structure for and the timings for doubt sessions from next week. So your respective CS will keep you posted on Monday morning.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Have a nice day.
All right. I think with that, provided that no one else has any questions, we're nearing the end of our session. I'd like you to thank you all so much once again for coming to the launch of the MES platform. And there are a lot more things to come, of course, in this. And I'm sure this will benefit you all a lot in the later weeks, months to come. So thank you all once again for coming. And I hope you got something out of this session.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you.